Good evening, my dear students, as well as my dear friends. So, my today's topic in C programming is data types. So, with the help of program, you would learn like how to use these data types. So, first of all, what do you mean by data types? So, for that purpose, everyone just take one notebook and write down the key points of it. So, you know very well that C has an associated data types for each variable. What is the meaning of it? That each and every variable, whether it is having the value that is of a integer kind, it is a kind of like decimal point value, or we are having the character type value. For each and every variable, we are having some dedicated data types. So it specifies means the data type specifies the type of data which you are going to use in your C program, like whether it is an integer kind value or it's a kind of character type value. Either you are using the decimal kind of values. So this totally depends upon or you just define your variable with the help of these data types like char, float, int, as well as string, array, etc. Now we could see that this is actually the declaration part. Data type is what? This is the declaration part of what? Of variable. And this data type, it determines the type and the size of the data associated with the variable. This is one of the most important point which you need to keep in your mind, that like the data type actually determine the type of the variable. For example, if you have taken num1 and num2, so num1 is of floating point, is having floating type of values, or it is having the integer kind of value. So it determines the type as well as like the size of the data, like how much memory cells it would acquire. So these two are the important point in case of data type. After that, like how many like different data types we are having in C programming. So the first one is basic data types, in which we are having integer like int, float, double, char, bool, and void. These are actually the keywords as well. Like if you need to define like the integer kind of variables, then you need to write int, not the complete full name of integer. That would be wrong. So like you need to keep in your mind like if you wants to define that your variable is of integer kind, so you need to write int a, int num, like this. Either it is float num, float a, like this. Then the second data type which we are having is derived data type, array, pointer, and function. These three kind we are having in case of derived data type. Then user defined data types, just like union, structure, enum. So in case of a structure, we could define and we could give the definition to or like function. So this is just like the classes which we use in case of object-oriented programming. But I'll tell you the like derived data types and user-defined data types in the later section. This time, like we are just focusing on the basic data types, and with the help of these basic data types, you need to solve various programs. You need to write various C programs. So the first data type, that is int. So int represents integer data type, and the integer data type in C is used to store the integer numbers. Integer number means any positive number, any negative number. Zero means that without decimal part you need to use the number. Okay, all right. Then like we could have octal kind of values. Octal kind of values means in which we are having the base, that is 8. Then the hexadecimal kind of values means in which we are having the like values in which we are having the base, that is 16. After that, decimal kind of values in which the base is 10. So these kind of values could also be stored into the integer data type. Now, the most important part that is very important and which is asked in the objective type of questions, where in the competitive exams as well as in your university exams, is like what is the range of integer? What actually the range of the integer data type? So it is in billions. Like, and it would start from negative number to positive number. So as you could see, the range of the integer number is from like negative range of 2 billion, like 2 billion 147,483,648 to the positive value of 2 billion. All right. Now the next question arises that what is the size of the integer data type? So the size of the integer data type is 4 bytes. But if we will talk about the next type of data type, that is char. So char is having the size that is 1 byte. So different data types are having its own range, its own size, as well as its own format specifier. Format specifier means like which kind of number you would use, or which kind of a specifier you would use to represent the integer kind of value. So for integer kind of value, we are having the format specifier, that is percentage %d. If we talk about the char data type, then in case of format specifier would be percentage %c. If we would use float data type, then in case of float data type, the format specifier would be percentage %f. So like this, the format specifier would change every time. I think this is clear to everyone. Okay. Now the program based on this int data type. So let us suppose one basic C program you have been made, like hash include stdio.h. This is your main header file. Then the main function you would include. Then the curly braces. You would start the curly braces. It would close the like you would close the curly braces. But first of all, you just define your number. Whether the number is of integer kind, to yes, and the num is equals to 1454. Now you are trying to print it with the help of that specified format specifier, that is percentage %d. So as soon as you would write num equals to percentage %d and you are trying to print that num, so as you could see, like the number would be printed on the screen and it is of integer kind. There is no error. But if in place of this percentage %d, if I'll write percentage %f, then obviously there would be the problem. There would be one kind of error. So this point, like you need to keep in your mind, like there are some dedicated syntaxes for each and every data type. All right. Now, like if we talk about the variables in case of if we talk about the data types under this integer, right? So we are having some unsigned int type of data type. We are having short int data type. We are having long int data type. All right. So in case of unsigned int, we are having the obviously it can store the data values from 0 to positive number, and it can't store the negative values because this is unsigned int. Then we are having short int. In case of short int, like if you don't want to take the complete int because the range of in case of end is in billions, so that is why you are taking the short end. And in case of that, the range is from minus 32,768 to positive 32,767. Just like that, in case of long int, if you are having the larger version of the integer data type, then you can use this long int. So the some dedicated format specifiers we are having for unsigned int, for short int, and for long int. In the later part, like I have defined all the format specifier for different kind of data types. So in that form of table, you would learn each and everything so that you could memorize it. So in the later part, I have given the definitions and I have given the ranges, I have given the format specifier for different data types. Now, the second data type, that is float. So in C programming, float data type is used to store the single precision floating point values. Means like to store the decimal kind of values. And the range, if we talk about the range, then the range is like this 1.2 is known as 1.2 e minus 38 is known as 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 38. This is the starting range, and it would move till 3.4 into 10 to the power 38. So this is the range of the floating point data type. Okay, now the next question which is arises is like what is the size of it? So the size of the floating point data type is 4 byte. Now what is the format specifier? As I have already told you that the format specifier is percentage %f in case of float. All right. Now the program based on the like floating point value. So the same program you need to write, but this time you are using float with your num variable. So now you are taking the value that is in decimal points. And now you are trying to print it with the help of format specifier that is percentage %f. All right. So this is how you would write the C program for it. Now double data type. So the double data type in C is used to store the decimal point numbers, but the values would be like the range would be increased. Means with double precision, we could use the like this double data type. It can easily accommodate about 16 to 17 digits after or before a decimal point. Means you could say the range is from 1.7e minus 308. What is the meaning of it? That we are having the range that is 1.7 into 10 to the power minus 308 to 1.7 multiplied by 10 to the power positive 308. That means now the range is quite high. Now, what is the size of the double data type? That is 8 byte. Again, the size has been increased. Now, the format is specifier which is used for double data type is percentage %lf. So, if you are using float data type, then percentage %f. But if you are using double data type, then the format is specifier is percentage %lf. Hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, all right. Now, the program based on double data type. As you could see, if you are using double, then only the thing that would be changed is the format specifier. After that, like obviously this number is very small, so it could be managed within the float as well. But in case of double, we are having a very large range, so the big numbers could be taken over here. All right, now the next data type, that is char data type. So char data type is having the size that is 1 byte, which is equals to 8 bits. Okay, all right. And this stores the single character. This is the main important point, that this char stores the single character. And the range is from 0 to 255, but in case of unsigned char. But if we are having the signed char, then we are having the range that is minus 128 to positive 127. Size is 1 byte. Format specifies percentage %C. So many times I've told you, so everyone just keep in your mind. Okay, all right. Now with the help of C program, if we wants to print the char data type, then how to use it? You need to write char first of all. Then here, obviously the variable could be user defined. So you could write ch, you could write num, you could write like any kind of variable you could take over here, equals to like the your char, like your character. So for example, you are trying to print v. All right, so now you're just trying to print with the help of dedicated format specifier, that is percentage %C. So as soon as you would write the statement, then you could see like by pressing F9 you could check your character onto the screen. So I hope this is clear. Okay, like how we have used the char data type over here. Now the list of ranges along with the memory requirements and the format specifiers of the different data types. So the first one, that is short end. And if you are using short end in your program, then as you could see, the size would be 2 bytes. Unsigned short end is always having 2 bytes, but the format specifier is percentage %HD. In case of unsigned, we are having percentage HU, even though the range has been changed. So everyone just keep in your mind, okay, like if you are using unsigned int, then what is the range of it? And how many values do you need in your C program? So depend upon that, you just try to take the data type. So for unsigned int, the format specifier is percentage U. In case of int, you know that the format specifies percentage D. In case of long int, the format specifies percentage LD. Okay, all right. And in case of unsigned long int, the range has been increased, as well as the format specifier is percentage LU. So like that, long int, percentage LLD, unsigned long int, percentage LLU, signed char, percentage C, unsigned char, percentage C, float, percentage F, double, percentage LF, long double, percentage capital LF. So just like this, like you could keep in your mind like these are the dedicated format specifier for each and every data type, and these are the sizes, and this is actually the range of all the data types. So everyone just note it down and keep in your mind, because the range you need to learn, even though the size you need to learn. The format specifier, you must know, like these are the dedicated format specifier which would be used with the dedicated data types. So I think this is clear to everyone. Now do practice of all the programs, and if still there is any problem to what you could do, you could write in the below comment box so that I could try to solve your problem. So hope you have liked this video. So thank you everyone.